All right, and we are good to go.
Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. It's the convening of the Massachusetts Gaming Commission for an agenda setting meeting, holding the meeting virtually. So I'll do a roll call. Good morning, Commissioner O'Brien.
Morning, I'm here.
Good morning, Commissioner Hill.
Good morning, I'm here.
Great, thank you. Good morning, Commissioner Skinner.
Good morning.
And good morning, Commissioner Maynard.
Good morning.
So before we get started with today is July 12th. It is public meeting number 149. It's a low number because it's one of our agenda setting meetings, and it will be Executive Director Wells' last agenda setting meeting. And Director Wells and I were reminiscing over the fact how nice it was when we convened these meetings in person right before COVID around a big table, and everybody got to sit with each other. Commissioners and team integrated, hoping that can be recreated comfortably. And I know that, Karen, you've got folks working on that idea moving ahead.
Yeah.
I also want to go out of order because I do want to go with my, as a commissioner, update. Yesterday, we did have the election of our new officers. I want to thank Commissioner O'Brien for taking the lead on the succession of officers. I think we've got a good plan for that so that folks, going forward in terms of commissioners will have a good plan for succession. So I want to congratulate again Commissioner Maynard, who is the new secretary, and Commissioner Hill, who is the new treasurer. It also is a good time for us to catch our breath. There has been lots of meetings. We are all hearing that all of us share a desire to have less meetings. And I do think we're coming on the other side of that. We were very fortunate that the team worked with the commissioners so hard during standing up sports wagering. And it did require record-breaking number of meetings. And for that, we are all grateful. But we are on the other side of those scheduling challenges. And so it appears my fellow commissioners' calendars are freeing up some. So in the past, the chair, both my predecessor and I include the interim chair, Gail Cameron, and myself have made assignments for commissioners to cover various areas to support the team, particularly as we have our new interim executive director coming in. I thought this was a good time for me to lay out a plan for my fellow commissioners, and we don't need to debate it today, and I ask that we don't. We're starting a little late. If you have any concerns about the suggested assignments I'm about to make, you can come talk to me, and we'll figure out a plan that will work. So for Commissioner Maynard, you are now secretary. You have been supporting Director Vander Linden in responsible gaming, and I hope that you'll continue doing that important work. I would like for you to team up with Commissioner Hill on community mitigation. I know that, Joe, you've had 2 commissioners in the past. Your world is only getting more complicated, and I think it's a great opportunity for the newest commissioner. You're now well into almost your year on August 1st, but given that you came in for sports wagering, this is a great opportunity for you to work in community mitigation. I also ask, even though I know that Commissioner Hill has a new role overseeing during the interim time horse racing, you have pledged, and I so appreciate the help that you're going to give legal on memorializing that delegation. So if you wouldn't mind finishing that up. And then I've also asked for you, Commissioner Maynard, to be on the committee for setting up the new mission statement that we spoke about. So that's what I have planned for Commissioner Maynard, and we'll make sure that Trudy and Grace work to shift schedules so that everybody can join those proper meetings. For Commissioner Skinner, I think that at one point there was no one assigned to IT, and so I was offered the opportunity to work with Katrina. She and her team are so self-sufficient, but they continue to face lots of hiring challenges. And Commissioner Skinner, you have taken on the role of being our technology expert, and I hope that you would work with Chief with Nakisha and not Nakisha, Katrina and her team on IT matters, and that if you wouldn't mind doing that on your own, that would be great. I will step away from that. I also think now that you are no longer treasurer, there's no perhaps conflict issue for you to work closely and reconvene the compliance committee with Commissioner O'Brien on risk assessment. That's a really important committee and important ultimately to develop the risk matrix that Chief Lennon does prepare in connection with the internal control plan. I also am happy to have other lawyers, and I know that you like having your hard copy of the general laws on your desk, and so I'm hoping that you will replace me and the legal and work with Commissioner O'Brien on meeting with the legal team, and that will help you with all those. I'm much better at being much happier, I think, being a retired lawyer, Commissioner Skinner. So I really appreciate if you can take over on that. And then I would ask and hope that you'll continue working with me on the working group on diversity, equity, and inclusion. For Commissioner Hill, you're now the treasurer. This is going to be an exciting new opportunity for you. You'll be overseeing racing during this interim period, and I know if that shifts as we expect, you'll continue to work closely with Dr. Lightbound in her racing work. I also would ask that you continue doing your important work with the community mitigation, and then you'll be working, of course, as treasurer with the finance department closely, just as Commissioner Skinner did. And then for Commissioner O'Brien, you'll continue working with legal and now Commissioner Skinner, and really reviving that important work of the compliance committee. I know you also have the idea of perhaps a separate subcommittee, which I think raises some complex legal issues, but something that you and I should explore. I'd also ask that you would take over my position. I had convened a committee. We hadn't met yet with Commissioner Maynard on the mission statement, and I would ask if you would lead that. The mission statement needs to be revived. You've been here the longest. Commissioner Maynard has been here the shortest amount of period, so the two of you would be able to figure out what should be preserved from the past and what we can how we should adjust it given the new responsibilities and perhaps even future responsibilities. And then, of course, come to the commission for the team's input as well as our adoption. And then Commissioner O'Brien, of course, is the head of the Public Safety Committee as well, and I'll be turning to her informally as I fulfill my supervisory role with the IEB director. So I will, of course, turn to Commissioner O'Brien, given her expertise in an informal capacity. So those are what I'm suggesting. The executive director has traditionally met in these meetings. That doesn't have to happen. It could be a lot for the executive director, or it might be exactly what the executive director wants to do. That's up to them. But I do think that these are meetings that are convened through the commissioners, and it's an important support to provide throughout the agency. And if there's any member of the team that is looking for commissioner support, I'm right in this office and can be reached at any time. I'm looking at Director Band, so we can think about that, okay? So anyone can come to me. These are the areas where we've had traditional, and some of these meetings haven't convened as regularly during our very busy period. So, all right. So we'll get started then. Turning now to, do I turn now still to Secretary Hill, or former Secretary
Uh,
Hill, or Commissioner Mead?
For these particular minutes, I would more than be happy to make a motion.
Thank
Madam
you
Chair.
very much. That's excellent. Thank you.
So I would move that the commission approve the minutes from the June 21st, 2023 agenda setting meeting that is included in the commissioner's packet, subject to any necessary corrections for typographical errors or other non-material matters.
Second.
Any edits or comments? Okay, Commissioner O'Brien?
You want to circle around? Just give me 1 minute. I haven't gotten all the way through. So if you want to roll call me at the end.
Oh, you haven't had a chance to, you're just reading the minutes?
Yep.
Is that, oh, sorry.
I'm just scanning them. So
That's
if you want
fine.
to circle back to me.
Does anybody else need a few minutes? Because I didn't ask if you had had the chance to read them.
I'm all set. I just.
Okay, Commissioner, okay,
I'm sorry.
okay, then I'll go with Commissioner Hill, and then,
Aye.
okay, Commissioner Skinner, you're on.
I'm good with the minutes. I just wanted to note that I did find a couple of typos that I sent early on to Attorney Yang. Most notably, at the end of the minutes, it has me moving to adjourn and also seconding the motion. So that has been corrected.
Oh,
And I'm an aye.
you just do it all. That's good. Okay, thanks. Thanks for noting that. Commissioner Maynard,
Aye.
and I vote yes, and Commissioner O'Brien.
Hang on 1 second. I believe it's not coming up. I don't know why.
I'm having trouble hearing you, Eileen.
Yeah, I can't get back to the screen.
Oh, you're on the screen. Oh, for you. to
Mine,
see.
yeah, mine is not, for some reason, that I changed my password. And for some
Got
reason
it.
I decided to go through 20 minutes ago. I believe this is the meeting where at the very end, I had asked at the very end of the meeting for the job description for the interim ED and or the executive director. I don't see a reference in the minutes to it. It may have been the meeting after that, but I believe it's that one. So that may be the only request I have, that if it was in there, I'd want that noted.
There is an add-on item, Commissioner O'Brien, but I think it only says Commissioner O'Brien expressed interest in reviewing the latest job posting for the executive director role and asked it be circulated to all the commissioners. It doesn't mention anything about the interim.
Okay, so let me go back and look, but I think there was a double reference. So if there is, I'm just going to ask that that be inserted. Otherwise, I'm an aye.
So we'll just make sure that if it's in fact covered, we'll just make sure that that's added. Is everybody okay with their vote as long as that gets added? If it wasn't, okay. All right,
Yes.
so that's 5 yeses. Thank you. So we'll move on to the agenda planning. We have our calendar. Everyone can use that as a reference. Thank you, Grace, for your organization on that. Everyone sees the dates as planned. Our next meeting. And we want to think about whether we need to have all of these agenda setting meetings. So keep that in mind as we go through. We are trying to give a little summer relief for our meeting schedule. Today we have a meeting right after this, and then we have a 3 o'clock meeting as well, commissioners. Just keep that in mind. It's a busy day for us. 3 different meetings. We are noted that we have an adjudicatory hearing on July 24th. That will be convened in a public hearing. And then we have agenda setting planned for July 26th, the day before our next meeting. And Grace, but I'm not sure how we feel if that's one that might be one that we could give up if everybody wanted to for the agenda setting. So let's just keep that in mind. So for July 27th, Karen, you will be not here, but you can tune in if you would like.
Okay, I'll put that on my calendar.
Okay, so that's July 27th at 10 a.m.
I'm writing it down.
All right, so we're going to keep both Karen and Todd attuned to this. I don't know, Karen, if you're recommending a particular administrative update for that date.
Nothing in particular, but Todd and I are meeting tomorrow. We have a few hours to spend to go over a few things, the spreadsheet on the transition items, and I'm finishing up the memo today, hopefully. So I think he'll be ready to go on the 27th.
Great. Then we'll have our meeting minutes and I'll have Judy and Grace coordinate that. Legislative update. Are we going to have something you think, Commissioner Hill, by the end of July? Anything we should be thinking about?
I would always put it on the agenda and we can take it off if we need to. I'm not optimistic that we will, but I'd like to have it on there just in case.
Commissioner Hill, there is a bill though on for horse racing, right? That's out there at least. That,
Yes,
maybe up to 3 years.
Yep.
Oh, okay, good. Thanks. So
that's right.
Maybe
Yep.
keep track of that one. That'll be great. Grace, thank you. Regulations. All set?
Yeah, we are actually not anticipating any regulations on the 27th.
Okay, excellent. Sports wagering. Just imagining.
Yes, Madam Chair, we have 3 house rules, Fanatics, FanDuel, and DraftKings, all submitting multiple changes.
All house rules, right?
All house rules.
Okay, and anything else that might pop up. All right.
Correct.
So, and then we're going to continue with our Community Mitigation Foundation review process. So that's your new policy proposal, right, Joe?
Yeah, so yeah, we'll be coming forward with some with a memo identifying some of the sort of existing issues that we have with the CMF and some potential solutions to that. And we'll be looking for the commission to sort of give us the authority to move ahead on some of those things.
Okay, so those are the 2 areas that we'll turn to for July 27th. To the team, is there anything else that you're going to need from the commission for that date?
We would like to request an executive session for a litigation update on that day.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else from the team that you would know of, Karen? Okay, commissioners, is there anything that you want to put on?
I'm just wondering if we're going to do executive session anyway, is there any lease update for us?
I think I'll check with Marianne. We're waiting to hear back from DCAM on a matter, so I can confirm with her. If there is an update from them, then we can put something on the executive session.
Okay. Commissioner O'Brien and Commissioner, you mentioned earlier the job description. I think yesterday we had that. Do we want to roll it over for the July 27th meeting?
Yeah, I think we put it on the first meeting we can. So if that's the 27th, then I think it should be on for the 27th.
Okay, and I know that you and Commissioner Skinner have volunteered to redline that, so we appreciate that work. So then moving on to the next public meeting. Yeah, so sorry.
That's okay. Just this doesn't have to be for the July 27th meeting, but I was reminded by the minutes that we voted in yesterday and also by an email that was forwarded to me by Sterl, that a while back I had asked that we take a look at, or the team takes a look at what our sports wagering operators' practices are relative to prohibiting people from betting if they are doing particularly well And I don't want that to get lost. And so we could put it on the items for under review, but I am asking for that discussion at some point this summer.
Okay, so we'll put it for under review, not necessarily for July 27th. Okay, that's good. Thank you. All right, is there anything else for July 27th? Okay, Commissioners, you notice that there's been a hold put on for August 1st, Commissioner Maynard's anniversary, and the anniversary of the sports wagering bill.
And your
August 1st is now being recommended for our review of the CAT 2 application. As you remember, we've met now, I think we've met twice on it, right? So we have IEB, here she is. Loretta, why don't you go right ahead and explain stats? Thanks.
Hi, good morning, Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. That's right. We're looking at August 1st to bring the preliminary suitability aspect of the application to you. I've been in touch with the applicant. That date would work for the applicant. I'm expecting that you'd want to, block out the better part of the day, and as is typical with these meetings, also add an executive session option that you will be able to have available to you. You'd be getting a report on that from the IEB in advance. So the first works for the IEB team and for the applicant.
Any questions for Director Lilios? Okay, so the block is for the whole day, right, Grace? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Loretta. Then we have an agenda setting for July 26th and for August 2nd. Commissioners, do you want to meet on the 26th, or are we able to cancel that agenda setting meeting? And then just let Grace coordinate with the team if something arises.
I think we're better off keeping a hold and then canceling it if we don't need it.
What date?
This would be for the July 26th.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Hill?
selfishly, I was wondering if we could not meet on that day.
Will you be post-wedding?
I'll be post-wedding and making my way back to Massachusetts.
With a full car?
A very full car.
Yeah. Commissioner O'Brien, are you all right with that if we take the opportunity to help the team and they can take it off their calendars as well?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about trying to move the ED process forward. So if there's any reason we need to touch base and that's,
you can
and add something or whatever, it'd be nice to have a touch base moment.
Well, you can certainly.
And I don't want to impede. I've heard about what the itinerary is for Commissioner Hill. I know he's going to be strapped.
Commissioner O'Brien, I can make a suggestion. If there's something that you want added to the agenda, you can, work with me and Grace. It won't be a problem whatsoever. And if there is a challenge of some sort, we can.
With that said, this is if we need to do what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Are you comfortable with that, Commissioner O'Brien? We certainly can add things to the agenda, even at the last minute. We've had to do that frequently. Okay, thanks. You gave me the thumbs up. All right. So we'll take July 26th off. And then there is an August 2nd agenda setting meeting. Is that good for everybody? Okay. Commissioner Maynard?
I have that marked that we are starting at 9 a.m. I don't know the context, but it's in my notes.
At what time?
It says 9 a.m. That was not a request from me. It's just in my notes.
It might be a request. It would be great if we start at 9 a.m. My son is getting married that Saturday, and I will be tending to some wedding festivities. So 9 a.m. I may or may not be at that meeting. We'll see. Okay. Let's see, so 9 a.m. works, and if there's a problem, we can make it 10 a.m. or whatever time the commissioners want. All right. Then we have another agenda setting meeting for the 16th. And then we have our next public meeting on the 17th. So we'll keep those two agenda setting meetings in case that we need them, but we'll look to see to the team if we can give you some relief. Again, to the entire team, you can always work with Grace to add to the agenda if need be. Okay. So we're turning to August 17th. And right now we have our standing meetings, administrative update. We're going to then be turning to our new interim executive director. And again, thank you, Todd. And minutes legislative update at that time, if there is one. And will we be expecting regulations at that point? I know that mid-August starts to trickle in new deadlines. Okay.
Yes, good morning.
Okay.
So we had planned to bring 6 regulations on August 10th. If we push them to August 17th, it will be a little bit tight because that's the last date on which the commission could vote on those regulations in order for us to get the final versions into effect before the emergencies expire. So we actually wanted to see if there's any chance we could add a meeting just for those regulations somewhere between August 7th and August 17th.
Could we look at the week of the 14th?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know.
Isn't there a conference that some commissioners are going to be away at that week?
I don't know, other conferences, are you?
That
gonna
is, that is yeah, horse racing. In
Yeah.
Saratoga. Yeah, I don't even have that marked.
What days will you be away, Commissioner Hill and Commissioner Maynard?
I think it's 14, 15, 16, isn't it? I don't know what parts of it you're going to.
Pull that up right now.
It's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of that week. And I'm sorry, I don't have the calendar in front of me right now.
Okay.
14, 15, 16 is the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
We
Yep,
also
and
work
that's,
the week
those are
of
the dates.
the week of the 7th is also a possibility in terms of reg timing if there's any availability there.
We have right now, the commissioners have been asked to do a 2x2 on the, is it the 9th on Wednesday or the 8th, Grace?
It's the 9th, and I'll be sending an email to the commissioner.
You will send an external request. Grace is coordinating that. This, do we have it the 7th and 8th available?
Madam Chair, if we could stay away from the 7th, that is my daughter's move-in day at college. But any other day that week, I'm available.
Okay. What about the 8th? Okay.
Good on that.
So we would move, I don't know if we'll still need the 17th or not, but we'll have a reg day on August 8th. Does that work well for you, Carrie?
That's great. And then we could always, if we need some rollover time on the 17th to finish anything up, we would have that available as well.
Okay, so we'll preserve the 17th for that. And we have sports wagering, of course, we'll need that. And of course, if something comes up in the interim, Bruce and team, and we need to have an additional meeting to get stuff done, we can do that, right? And just keep a limited agenda. And that,
Have something for sports wagering on the 17th, I believe, correct, Crystal?
Yes, I didn't know if we had gone back to the 17th yet.
yeah, we are.
Okay. So we will have we are expecting quarterly reports in the next couple weeks. So that would be an ideal date to bring them forward if that works for you guys from our category 3 operators. I think Joe has his scheduled on a different date.
Can I have a question. I don't know if the other commissioners are better versed on this, but Karen and legal, did we have a reg that requires quarterly reports? Is this for, oh, these are for the sports wagering licensees. We have a reg that requires that, right?
Well,
Not in the format that you're used to seeing it, but yes. there-
But they're supposed to do quarterly reports. I guess my question is, did we decide on format? So thanks.
yeah, I don't
Just to
think
be clear,
we haven't decided that. Right.
There's a requirement that everyone file a quarterly report. The question is whether you want some type of presentation of it at a meeting, they're two different things.
That's
So they
right.
have to do quarterly reports. But they don't by rule or regulation have to present that. That's just something we have done, which is just a helpful tool for the commission to understand where everyone stands.
So is this a good time to discuss this, whether we want to actually do presentation from Crystal? If you want to.
I was going to say, I thought, and totally willing to step back from this, but the reason I brought it forward was because I thought at a previous meeting, you wanted at least the first round in a public meeting. And I could be wrong, but
No, that's my memory too.
The template is basically set up as what you're used to seeing. So if you decide, you don't want to have them in every meeting, we can go annual or whatever you want. But just for now, we have them set up what you're used to seeing.
Commissioners, is that, I saw Commissioner O'Brien saying that that's what she would like. Are you in agreement, Commissioner Hill, Commissioner Maynard, and Commissioner Skinner?
I am.
Commissioner Maynard?
I am as well.
Works for me.
Okay.
Madam Chair, while we're talking about quarterly reports, we do need to schedule our quarterlies for our regular licensees as well.
And do you need that on August 17th, Joe, or no?
That was sort of the first available meeting in August that I'll be around for. So I was looking at this one, or we could do it at the second meeting in August. Either way, I'll need to check with the licensees and see what their availability is.
Right. And for clarification, do you want us to just present what their reports are on this, or do you want the operators coming forth to present their quarterly reports?
It's going to be 10 reports, right, Crystal?
It's category 3 only, so I think it's 6, and they're of course much briefer than what the licensees do now. Let me just take a quick peek.
So it's
I would just have to confirm with them this date too, but I've had them prepared as to what the meetings were in August.
So we hear from category 3. So it would be.
So it is
7, 9, 10, right?
It is, sorry, I'm looking at my structure report now. So category 1 is still, as you saw in the last version, they're just adding a layer into their licensee reports.
It would be like 8 of them.
Yeah, so I think it's 7, 8 now with Fanatics. Yeah. I imagine there'll be 15 minutes a piece.
Okay.
And of course, I'll confirm that they're all available, but I just wanted to make sure that's what you guys wanted before I went ahead and did that.
I know, Karen, you hadn't, I didn't know if there had been any kind of a decision, but I'm hearing from Commissioner O'Brien that we must have decided that they all needed to appear, so at least to begin with, so.
Yeah, I have a recollection that we did have that conversation, but I wasn't sure if that was a decision. Yes. So.
I recall the decision that we wanted presentations. I don't recall whether we wanted them as part of those presentations or staff. I think first time through might not be a bad thing to have them here, but I don't know that we reached a consensus on whether the licensees themselves would present or if it would be sports wagering division.
That's my recollection too, but I would like the operators to appear, so we can hear directly from them. And if we have to split the presentations out over 2 meetings, I say we go for that.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Commissioner Maynard?
That totally works, and I think that, early on, it's even more important. I think there's a time where this is going to get burdensome, but not now. We've got to hear what they have to say.
Hey, Commissioner Hill? Okay. So August 17th, we'd also add the at least 1 or 2 of the casino licensees too for their quarterly reports, which are mandated.
Yeah, why don't I'll reach out with them and, we can either do them on the 17th or the 24th. I'll give them the 2 options of dates, I guess.
Okay, Director Lilios, it looks like maybe we don't have to do the executive session at the end of the meeting that we're anticipating. We could do it at a time that's convenient for the GEU folks, but this would be a follow-up to an earlier executive session. Commissioners and Loretta and members of the GEU team would join the licensees, right, Loretta?
That's right. That's the intention. And the licensees are aware of the date. Some of them will be bringing more than one of their specialists to be able to address the matters that we hope to discuss. So to the extent we're able to put it more towards the beginning of the meeting, that may be helpful since it is a larger group, but they're already aware of the date.
Okay, so we may be a little bit playing with the agenda to accommodate. There's a lot of outside stakeholders planned for this meeting. So to the extent that maybe we even decide to roll it over to August 24th, we can think about that. Okay. Anything else that we want to add to August 17th?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
So part of the FY24 research agenda is an ad hoc report to be determined by the commission. In our contract with UMass, we are supposed to deliver that information to them by September 1st, that direction. So I was hoping to add to the agenda a discussion of the focus of that specific project. We have several options. You can take it or leave it, but we're looking for direction from the commission on that report specifically.
Okay. Karen, there's still time. You can decide to join this meeting because you might need your sleeping bag. So, no, but we would be able to, does that involve also outside folks, Mark, or would that be your internal team?
No, it's internal. We may ask Dr. Goldberg to join us, but really this is a decision of the commission, and Bonnie and I can help facilitate that.
Right. So the only other internal work would be legislative, not legislative, regulations if there are any, and then this. So we would just want to coordinate that around the external stakeholders' timing. So let's get that into, let's get Mark's work in. Thank you, Dr. Andrews. All right. Anything else from the team? Okay. Now we're turning correct Grace to the 24th.
Correct. As of the agenda planning meeting, there was nothing on the 24th.
That's correct. But I'm noting that IEB wanted to add a request from PPC around floor expansion, Loretta?
Yes, we do. So there will be a request from PPC to expand its floor. As you recall, when the retail sportsbook was launched at PPC, it's in some temporary space, and they have been working on their permanent sportsbook. We're looking at potentially August 24th date for that approval. Our Burke and Andrew from our gaming agents team have been in touch with North about that. He expects to have his materials into the IEB on the 17th, which would then give the team the opportunity to do the inspections and reviews in time for the 24th. So we'd be looking at the 24th to bring that expansion before you.
So it sounds like we need that meeting on the 24th, Grace, for that, and then possibly for Joe with respect to the other, at least one or two other reports from the casinos, and possibly for Crystal to roll over some of the Category 3 presentations. That would be a lot of calendar coordination, Crystal, so thank you. If you can work with Grace on that. And Trudy, I think it's all set in terms of the commissioners are all available those days.
Madam Chair, there's on the 24th, I'd also like to reserve some additional time for the Community Mitigation Fund discussions. Presuming that we have a fruitful discussion on the 27th, we'll probably be coming back with fairly regular updates to the commission on our work.
Okay, that would be great. Thanks, Joe. What about the Encore Boston Harbor, given yesterday's work? Do we need to put anything on for the summer or just wait now for the fall?
Well, I think we'll wait. The letter will probably go out today. I don't know how quickly they'll pull together an application for us, but once we get something in, we'll need to spend a little time internally reviewing that, I think, before we want to come to the commission. So I guess at this point, we'll just play it by ear for the moment.
The only one we might is the timing on the host and community agreement renegotiation status. That might be the only one that.
Correct.
That
Yeah,
might
we
crop
are asking for that earlier or soon, I should say. They may have the entire application in by then, but yeah.
Okay, so under review, we added Commissioner Skinner's item. iLab review, I know that we mentioned iLab at least with respect to or yesterday, but that's a different item. This is on the process. You want to keep that under review?
Yes, please.
Okay. Our racing work, Dr. Lightbound, I think I saw her join the meeting again. Alex, congratulations on a very, very meaningful interview the other day. And I just want to again extend my gratitude to you publicly.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. You're looking for that work. How are you feeling about a need for a deadline?
Yeah, I looks like we will be getting an application, and so to the extent that that can be done, sooner rather than later. As you know, the deadline for the application is October 1st. And if we're going to make a requirement that they get local approval first and all, I think there was some talk about having that written in. If people talk to me, I mentioned that, I say that, we have the application that we used last year and it's on our website and they can use it. And I say the commission is in review of it right now and might come up with a few different things, including, having that approval first. So I think the legal team is working on it.
Could that just be a single change, Todd, that we could do promptly and get in front of the commission? Do we have to actually approve that, or is that something that the team could take care of?
I think the answer to the first question is yes, we could just do that as a single item. I think the draft itself is really close to being circulated anyway. As far as the team approving just the requirement that any vote be taken in advance of submission, is that what you were referring to?
That approval be obtained prior to submission.
Yeah, I think that sounds like more of a commission decision, but I think it's okay for us to broadcast that and get word out that that is the direction the commission is leaning.
I think we might need to add it to one of the meetings, Madam Chair.
Yeah, I think so too. So can I just ask one more follow-up question? When you said the application is coming, remind me, Todd, we worked last year extensively on the new application.
Right.
There aren't too many changes to that, right? But we would include this change.
Yeah, the regulation basically just captures the contents of the existing regulation, the existing application, excuse me, with some adjustments, like the idea that you have to submit proof of a positive vote and things along those lines. But otherwise, yes, it's the same application, more or less.
Okay.
You know, one of the, not to go into great detail here, but one of the big adjustments is the suitability component as well. So there are a number of things that need to be looked at. So hopefully we can get that to you shortly.
Okay, I'm seeing the time. I know we have another meeting, Grace. I don't know if there's any way to coordinate that. We're just running a little bit late, but I guess then we definitely should put this under for an earlier meeting, and I leave it to legal to coordinate with Grace as to what would work and would coordinate with Dr. Lightbound so that we can get that taken care of. It's making sure that the application for a new applicant is all set to reflect the change, that single change at the very least that we want. And then secondly, the updated application so that in September, when our current licensee applies, they have an updated application as well. Am I right on that, Dr. Lightbound?
I don't know that legal has been working on the application for a renewal. I think they were trying to get the first one done first. But,
okay.
You know, Todd may chime in on that.
I guess I didn't realize how much work was being done on the new one because I know we had it last time. All right, so we'll stay tuned on that. Thanks, Dr. Lightbound. And I know you're looking for the reg support. And again, you know, with Commissioner Hill's guidance, you know, you two can coordinate that. But I know that you're looking for clarification on that. So thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So we'll put commissioners, if you're okay, we'll have them coordinate a date that works best for the calendar. Compliance committee, Commissioner O'Brien, can you and I speak about that? That would be good. And thumbs up. Thank you. HCA compliance update, Commissioner Skinner. Do you want to keep that under review or do you want to bring that into the summer months?
No, I'll let Joe chime in, but I think for now we should keep it under review, just given all of the other competing items we have.
Yeah, we've just started that process, Chair, and we're into it, but we don't really have a date yet on when we'll have some results of that.
Okay. We can take the escrow off now, correct?
That wasn't, there was no decision made on the escrow. It was basically that we needed to do some more research on it. And Derek had brought a document that he had just received a day or two before it, that it wasn't specific to the escrow question, but it had implications. So I think Judy was going to go back and look at some more details that came up at the meeting.
I remember the recommendation.
Chime in.
Yeah. So we do need to settle that, right, Dr. Lightbound?
Correct.
To be fair to the outside stakeholders. So we'll turn back to legal to help, resolve the outstanding issues. Thank you. So we won't put it on the calendar quite yet. Okay. Bruce, a 90-day audit.
Yes, we're still collecting the last of those. So keep that under review, but they should be all done soon.
Okay. And the delegation of authority, Jordan, I mentioned that already.
Yeah, I've not finished writing it, but Todd and I have talked about it. Todd, I'll circle around.
Excellent, thank you. And then Dr. Lightbound, Dr. Andrews, I've got my two, there's both of them right next to each other. Dr. Andrews.
Yes, and for the economic review, for the economic impact reports, we wanted to keep those under review. It turns out that an August presentation date was a little bit overly ambitious, so we'd like to move that to the fall, maybe a September meeting.
That sounds good. That sounds great. Thank you so much. And then request from PPC. I know that, I don't know if everybody has heard, but we've got Director O'Toole in mind right now as he recovers from his accident. Does he have a date in mind that he needs, Dr. Whitebound?
So for now, he'll just like to keep it under review till he has a better idea on when he'll be back. And he does appreciate everybody's well wishes.
Great, thank you so much. Director Lilios, I think you've got another item that you want to add.
Chair, thank you. And this is the cashless wagering option that PPC would like to bring forward. As you may recall, this cashless wagering was an initiative that the IEB started speaking with PPC about before sports wagering here, and then the initiative was deferred, and now PPC wants to bring it back again. It is an option that is offered in many of its other properties. So the Gaming Agents Division is actively working on this with PPC now, as well as some of our internal groups with our IT division and with the legal division around some regulations. So Burke and Andrew are actively engaged in this. I think it's going to be around a September date that we'd be looking to do a demo for you. And then following that, some regulations and green lighting it. But for now, that's what the cashless is and requesting under review.
Okay. Anything else for under review before we go into our next meeting?
If I could add just one element to that cashless, I've been talking to Mark a bit about possible play management regulations related to cashless wagering, where it's essentially using an app in casino versus an app online. So that may be part of this discussion coming in the next few months.
Well, good. Thank you. Is there anything else? Commissioner Skinner?
I just wondered whether we should add the letter of intent to apply for a Regency gaming license to the list. I'm just wondering how the commission should be responding to that. So if it's not appropriate for an under review item, maybe someone, perhaps our legal division, could talk me through what the necessary considerations are.
Could you repeat it, Commissioner Skinner? I had a little hard time hearing you. My apologies.
The Regency, that letter of intent that we received from an individual, I don't know what company he represents, but he expressed an intent to apply for a Regency gaming license.
Did we all get that?
Yes, all commissioners got it.
Well, it is in front of us now. Then we certainly can put under review for right now. That would be fine. And we'll turn to Karen, Executive Director Wells, and Interim Executive Director Grossman to figure out what's next steps on that. Okay. Anything else? Well, it did take a full hour. My apologies, but I think we covered a lot. Commissioners, it's 10:12 and we are late for our other meeting. And legal team, you're up. I need a second to get my notes together. Does everybody need a quick break or?
I do. I just need a couple minutes.
Okay, so it's 10:12. If Dave could just let folks know 10:20. Does that work, everyone? Shoot for 10:20. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And we can exit, oh yes, we need to motion to adjourn this meeting and we'll go into a new meeting. Thank you.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Maynard. Second,
Second.
Commissioner O'Brien,
Aye.
Commissioner Hill,
Aye.
Commissioner Skinner,
Aye.
Commissioner Maynard.
Aye.
I vote yes.